Welcome to a 1v1 on Einhoven Country. This game is going to be MoaningMinnie versus Arzuna 86. MoaningMinnie playing as Soviets. In the south, 3 conscript opening against Oberkommando West in the north, 4 Volksgrenadier opening. Shock rifle, Soviet shock army, or no, terror. His mustache is slightly different mustache. Terror, and guard motor. For Spec Ops Scavenge and Luftwaffe ground forces. So, initial engagements will go in favor of the Soviets. Rather than a 4th conscript squad, he's gone with Molotovs, and that helped him force one early retreat right there. Getting into close range on these Volksgrenadiers, he should win this engagement easily. Another Molotov just to force the issue. No crits. Squad gets away with 2 men remaining. Sturm Pioneers trying to move up on the flank will catch that squad low. It's repositioning out of their arc of fire. Sturm Pioneers do have a vision blocker here to get into close range. Might have a bit of an opportunity right here. There are no northwest facing windows in this building, so if they switch targets to this squad, which has yet to unload any shots on them, they're actually going to have a very dramatic impact right here. Nice flank with those Sturm Pioneers. Nicely played. All 3 Soviet squads forced back into the base. There's an M3 on the field, so tier 1 chosen in addition to Molotovs. And he still has the munitions for flamethrower, even after both Molotov tosses. 4 minutes. Sort of, maybe a little tiny bit late on the flamethrower car. Will reduce its shock value. No tech yet, so I'm actually not sure what Arzuna is going to do this game. Upon seeing the M3, maybe he'll go tier 3. It looked like tier 2 to me initially. The SWS pulled back into the base. So... Nope, just kidding. Tier 2. Tier 2 in the base, though. Tier 2 in the base against M3 opening is going to be tough to pull off unless he can somehow kill this thing. With a mine, perhaps. Could be an option. He's got 120 munitions in the bank, but having not built the structure yet, cannot get a Panzer Strike yet. Just playing Ring Around the Rosie with this M3, trying to keep it busy, trying to buy himself time. He will be forced to retreat away from it right there. No choice. No choice in the matter, unfortunately. No mines down anywhere that I'm aware of, which means that thing is free to wreak havoc on everything Arzuna has. Huge burst. Looks like a wipe. Since he's reversing towards the Oberkommando West base, the front gun is actually picking off Volksgrenadiers right there as well. He will be forced to pull away for repairs from the Sturm Pioneers, with M3 falling to about half from small arms fire. Infantry moving up back out of the Soviet base will force one retreat there as well. So 1 squad of Volksgrenadiers wiped already, making things tough, and MoaningMinnie will feel comfortable enough with his advantage that he'll go terror. Interesting. No guards on this map, no T-3485s. He will have the KV-8 though, so he has some kind of late game call-in tank. I mean, this commander is basically shock rifle. It's shock rifle, but with an ML-20. This is actually probably one of the better ML-20 commanders. As a call-in tank. I don't know. I guess I'm sort of surprised more people don't use this, but not really that surprised because it's not like the ML-20 is that great anyway. But MoaningMinnie is going to be using it this game. It's not a completely dead commander, clearly. There's another wipe.
Shock troops can now be used to crush the enemy.
M3 pulling back for repairs again. It's already picked up 2 wipes. MoaningMinnie, by comparison, has not lost much. Only 13 models lost. No squads wiped. Arzuna extremely behind. Tier 2 in the base against M3 flamethrower cars. Probably one of the worst One of the worst options. Doesn't even have a Rakettenwerfer for maybe a lucky snipe. I don't think he's planted a single mine. All munitions going into Shreks. And the early advantage that this thing has secured for MoaningMinnie is quite stark. Map control could be worse though. Karina West at least has the cutoff and fuel point. That's something. Munitions also currently in Axis favor, uncontested by the Soviet player for now. Although with the shock troop commander, munitions will not be that important to secure early on. Oh! That snipe though. 2 shock troops. That value, that Panzer Shrek value. Smoke grenade going down right there. To allow these conscripts, I guess, to cross the road. Grenade toss on those Volksgrenadiers. Off target, doesn't do much. Arzuna holding his line pretty nicely, and the shock value of that squad is negated pretty well thanks to that lucky Panzer Shrek snipe plus just focus fire right there. Will maintain control of his fuel and cut off, and MoaningMinnie will have to take a different approach. M3 making its way up the right side to get control of this munitions. Jaeger, 2 squads of Jaeger light infantry deployed here by Arzuna. Played against Panzer Grenadier and Greifen 2 days ago. He picked Scavenge Commander against me. I went double Ostwind, double Rakettenwerfer. And he beat me. He was pretty good. He's a much better player than I am, though. I mean, but I thought it was an interesting build. I think I'd like to see that more. See that from an observer perspective rather than from me losing the game perspective. At some point. M3 is going to catch a tier 4 structure going up, but it's also going to go get right into the Panzer Shrek squad right there. Fortunately, the first shot missed, but I think MoaningMinnie knows that M3 is dead. And there it goes. Flamethrower will be forced to retreat. Nothing he can do to stop this from building, although he did get it down to half during that. A little bit of free fuel there for Arzuna. Going to salvage that with Volksgrenadiers getting control of the center VP as well. Jaegers catch the flamethrower retreating. Surprised he's moving away from that rather than trying to pick up the wipe. I think he had a pretty good chance of wiping that if he got a lucky crit. Maybe. Shock troops are back on the field, running up to the front line. Oh, that's actually a fresh squad. This one's still in the base, healing. Grenade tossed by those shocks. More infiltration grenades trying to turn these infantry engagements. Maybe a early retreat by those shocks right there. Still had 4 models left and he pulled them back. I'm not sure he had really lost this engagement. I don't know if I'm convinced. Those Volksgrenadiers are falling low and are going to try and soft retreat around a shot blocker. There's the hard retreat. Doesn't want to risk it. I think he probably would have made it. Conscripts are forced to retreat in return. And the center VP will go into Arzuna's control. He's made it to tier 4, which will protect his fuel point, and Panzer II is on the field. It's kind of interesting to see a tier 4 into Panzer II build as Scavenge, because it's a little bit redundant with the Ostwind. It costs more fuel to buy this than to buy an Ostwind. Ostwind's 100, a Panzer II is 80 plus 50, so 130, and it's not that much more. The Ostwind's more durable, probably a little bit less effective at wiping shocks on retreat. I think Panzer II has better wipe potential. And the higher speed autocannon performs a little bit better, I think, than the Ostwind flat gun. I don't think it's a bad decision. I think it's just a little bit redundant with his commander. But it should serve him well. Should serve him well against shock troop build. Tier 3 in production now for MoaningMinnie, who will try and take that Panzer II out with, I assume, a T-34.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory.
Bit of manpower bleed here for MoaningMinnie, who is now starting to struggle a little bit. Losing control of the map, spending a lot of manpower here in the base with a 2 shock troop build, plus an M3 that got destroyed. His core is a little small. A little bit. So, no wipes. No wipes. To be fair, Arzuna was off to an extremely rough start. 2 Volksgrenadier squads wiped, and as far as model losses, things might be actually very much in Arzuna's favor now, though. Wow. Things really turned around. MoaningMinnie had an excellent start. Now, not so much. 20 more models wiped, or killed by Arzuna, thanks in part to the Panzer II, and in part to infiltration grenades, Jaegers, and so on. Obersoldaten will be fielded next, upgrading with an LMG. Pretty solid infantry corps here for Arzuna 86, and our Raketenwerfer is in production, and T-34 also in production simultaneously. So there will be a counter to the T-34 available, in addition to, of course, 3 Panzer Schrecks. Panzer II will have to be very careful not to be exposed to that T-34 for too long. And I don't think I've seen any Soviet mines anywhere either. Conscripts take up a position inside of the building. Again, no northwest-facing windows, so they can't really contribute that much to the engagement. Shock troops will disengage away from this fight when the Panzer II shows up. T-34 is still not on the field, so the Panzer II's window of opportunity is still wide open. Propaganda artillery dropped on the blob right here. No retreats yet, but a couple squads pinned. One retreat. I don't know, by the way, the numbers on this ability. I think it's a 50-50 chance of pin or retreat every one of those bursts or something. I don't know. I don't really know how that works exactly, but I'm pretty sure Arzuna got decent RNG during that, not being forced to retreat by it. Panzer II isn't wreaking havoc on these shocks, though. He's trying to bait the Panzer II into the T-34, and he is successful. Both squads get away after heavy bleed, but it looks like the Panzer II will go down. Doesn't look like it's going to be able to get to safety away from that tank in time. There's no shoe mine to kite it over. He will get behind a vision blocker very briefly. Raketenwerfer is trying to set up. T-34 shot missed. T-34 may be exposed to danger for a little while because of that miss. Raketenwerfer takes a shot. Panzer II gets clear, and the T-34 gives up the chase. Wow. That miss right there saves that Panzer II. He got clear just in time. Nice escape. Nice combination of tricky maneuvering and luck to get that Panzer II to safety. And the T-34 did not feel comfortable continuing the chase, which if it had, I think it would have killed it, by the way. I'm surprised he disengaged right there, but he didn't know what might be in the fog of war. Could have been a mine. Could have been more Volksgrenadiers. So, probably made the right call there. In this instance, I think that the Panzer II would have died. But I think I think he made the right call. A good practice to never overextend. There will be other opportunities to kill that Panzer II, and its impact will be limited now. Now that Arzuna knows there's a T-34 on the field, he won't be able to be nearly as aggressive with it, especially against the shock troops, just pushing them right into the base. Over here on the right side, however, Arzuna has extended his map control with further harassment. Jaeger's great on big maps, by the way, for map harassment, especially if there's buildings randomly that you can pop out of. I'm pretty sure you can even pop out of these sniper nests, right? I don't know, I could be wrong about that. Pop out of that, though. That helps a little bit. So that helps with map harassment. Not so much on the left side. I don't know if there's anything you can pop out of over here. This thing. T-34 repaired mostly, makes its way back into the front line. Panzer Schreck's connecting slightly. Raketenwerfer trying to get a line. Rear propaganda artillery on the Raketenwerfer. Since Raketenwerfer's can get suppressed, that's probably limiting its ability to fire. Although now that I'm thinking about it, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Can Oster AT guns get suppressed by propaganda artillery? They can't get suppressed by anything else, but propaganda artillery maybe. Because Oster AT guns can also be forced to retreat by propaganda artillery, which is kind of neat. It does kick in eventually, and the Raketenwerfer is forced off the field. Engine destroyed from that AT gun. The T-34 may have an opening here. The Raketenwerfer was forced to retreat. There's one Panzerschreck available protecting that building. Panzer II could get around this corner. Maybe it'll have a chance. Doesn't look like it though. Out of control. Grit looks will be destroyed eventually. And the T-34 will get to safety. Smoke grenade just in case. Nice usage of smoke to definitely make sure that T-34 gets to safety. And it will pick up that Panzer II. Oh my god, it's so out of control!
The squad is back to full strength.
The carnage!
Light vehicle destroyed.
Contact! Full arms fire!
Stern Pioneers move up to salvage. Shock troops trying to push away Folks Grenadiers here in the middle. Taking light damage. Grenade toss will prompt a retreat. And wasn't paying quite close enough attention to be able to just manually dodge, I guess. Had to get out of there. He may have lost the engagement anyway against Stern Pioneers plus 2 Folks Grenadier squads. A little too much for them to take on by themselves. Both T-34s will be fully repaired. This one up to Vet 2. 2 T-34s might be enough to take on a Panther. If the Panther does something it shouldn't do, which I'm not really expecting. Based on Arzuna's Panzer II micro, he seems to have pretty tight micro. Oh, that booby trap! Nice! Nice booby trap. They were so clumped. I saw that. I saw that coming. Nice booby trap. Picks up that wipe, and MoaningMinnie's core is getting smaller and smaller. That's 2 conscript squads wiped now. I don't even know how the third one got wiped. Or the second one got wiped, but booby trap wipes that one over there on the right side, and shock troops are practically the only infantry MoaningMinnie has left because of this expenditure of manpower into tanks. So once that Panther comes out, the game's gonna get very tough. T-34s are going to do what they can, try and put pressure before that Panther can completely shut them down. I think they have a chance of maybe clearing or destroying that Raketenwerfer. Maybe. Here comes the Panther. If the T-34s do have an opportunity against that Panther, this is probably it, honestly. Raketenwerfer caught out of position, but they're not even going to try. So now MoaningMinnie is probably going to wait for a third T-34, but if he expends another 300 manpower into tanks, then that's his infantry army is just nothing. And he will not. Conscripts queued up. And replace some of his losses. Flamethrower heading right. Jaegers are getting back control of the left. A lot of squads in the base right now for Arzuna. So MoaningMinnie has a bit of breathing room, a little bit of space to take territory back right now with the infantry he does have left. And his decision not to go tier 2 is going to make killing that Panther a pretty tall order unless he can steal a Raketenwerfer or something.
Combat unit ready. Enemy infantry! Point taken! Suppressive fire!
Oversoldot moving to take control of the middle. They are Vet 1 and have access to the frangible, which he will toss on those shocks a little maybe late. I don't know. If they retreat, they'll have to retreat through it. Grenade toss, counter grenade toss. The frangible did about half their HP. That was a pretty good grenade. Could have been maybe a little bit better, but pretty good. Infiltration grenade toss here as well. He continues trying to kite. And the shock troops are going to retreat. They don't want to stick around in that engagement any longer. And LMG Ober should probably win against, yeah, easily against those conscripts. Vet 2 now. Pretty good engagement. The fight for the center. Victory point is won again. T-34 is being repaired over here on the right side, and fresh combat engineers are now being fielded for more repairs, I guess. Maybe he wants to have that on the field before his third tank, unless he's... I don't really expect KV-8, honestly. Maybe. Against double obers, KV-8, I mean, against this much infantry, KV-8 could be good, but that's going to leave him with, again, no anti-panther of any kind, really. He needs to think carefully, basically, about exactly what he spends his resources on from this point. Tier 2 into a field gun, for example, would probably be the safest bet. I don't know if that would have a particularly great chance of turning the game around. But it would at least give him some staying power. Clearly walking lone squads of shock troops across open fields through LMG over soldado fire is not working all that well. Don't fall for that booby trap twice. You know that booby trap is there. That wasn't that bad though. That could have been worse. The Jaegers are probably going to win the engagement as a result. They'll both retreat. T-34 working the right side flank. Since there's two T-34s on the field and only one Panther, they can be in more places at once. Well, that was a weird maneuver. Oh, apparently you can just drive through all of this. Apparently tanks can just drive through all of that, I guess. I don't know. That was weird. Okay. Okay, guys.
Relay order. Receiving effective fire. Back up to full force.
T-34s have barely even scratched that Panther. Well, it's at 3/4, but they can't continue engaging. They're both at half and have to pull away from this engagement. And is that an ML-20? Yes, it is. Firing at the building. Ooh, that was a pretty big hit. That building's probably going to be destroyed by this barrage. There it goes. Nobody will be able to utilize that any further. Volksgrenadiers going down quick in red cover, but I think LMG overs will probably win this, even without Vet against Vet 3 conscripts. There's the retreat. MoaningMinnie will get pushed further and further back into the base. I think ML-20 might have been the worst possible decision. I don't think that's gonna turn the game around. I don't know. Maybe MoaningMinnie thinks the only way this game's going back in his favor if he gets some sort of RNG miracle, and the ML-20 is gonna be the mechanism by which that miracle is delivered. In theory.
Grenadiers back to full strength. Gruppe back to full strength. Squad under fire. Squad back to full strength.
Molotov toss right there by those conscripts. And shock troops will chase away the Jaeger light infantry right there. Also, is there any counterplay to booby traps? I think it actually depends on the kind of booby trap. I have seen booby traps successfully diffused, and I've also seen booby traps that are impossible to defuse. So I think the Soviet booby trap works a little bit differently from the Oberkommando West one. One can be defused by minesweepers, and the other one just is there forever, and there's nothing you can do. And I'm not really sure how that works or why that is, but that's been my experience. And that might have also been between two different patches as well. I haven't really done enough thorough testing to be able to give a definitive answer to that. But I'm pretty sure at least one form of booby trap there is nothing you can do about. Booby trap detonates against those conscripts. They'll be forced to retreat with one man remaining.
Fire on that infantry.
Arzuna really likes those booby traps. He's getting good value out of them too. I hope MoaningMinnie gets a Minesweeper this game because I'd really like to actually see what happens. maybe we can learn something this game about how that works. ML20 doesn't look like it really hit anything back there. Third T34 in production. 3 T34s can definitely beat a Panther. That is for sure. Especially since it's not Vet 2. That'll also help as they try and chase it down. Ooh, Soviet mine over there. That was a pretty nasty one.
Package received. We have lowered the enemy to 75 points. Work completed.
Force retreat from the fuel on the right side, and the triple cap will finally slow down. Shock troops working on the center, conscripts on the left. 65 points remaining. I don't know if MoaningMinnie is going to be able to do anything about this situation. He needs to make an extremely dramatic push with his 3 T-34s and needs to start wiping out priority targets with those tanks. This, for example, would probably be an easy pickup, but there's not much that can stop 3 tanks from destroying that. A frontal assault down the middle with ML20 support is also an option if the ML20 can maybe clear some stuff. Ooh, like that, for example. Panther gets briefly caught with its rear armor exposed right there. 2 shots penetrating, it's now fallen quite low. There's a decent chance the Panther will go down right here with either good RNG, rams, or whatever. Out of control on that T-34. Got burst down a little faster than I think he might have been expecting. Panther will blitz back into the base. While this engagement is happening, the Soviet player is taking control of the center VP to try and slow down the clock. These 2 T-34s have pulled away from that wounded Panther to try and get away from the threat of double Panzerschreck squad right there, plus for Kettenwerfer, which I think was a mistake. I think that Panther had to be destroyed at any cost right there. Allowing that to be repaired and losing a T-34 in exchange for nothing will probably cost MoaningMinnie the game, in all honesty. Should have fully committed right there. Fully committing could have, to be fair, fully committing would have probably also cost MoaningMinnie the game. But at least that Panther would be dead. 300 fuel in the bank, what a shame. Bleeding manpower is so much in infantry engagements that MoaningMinnie cannot even afford to spend that banked fuel on further tier 3 units. And that's a risk of going double shock troops. That's expensive to maintain. To purchase and maintain. These snipes.
Send your orders.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna ram for sure Detroit Deli, but I think it just died too fast. I don't think he was expecting to go down that quickly. You have a certain sense of how quickly your tank is gonna go down, and I think that gets thrown off when a squad like this has 2 Panzerschrecks and you're maybe not quite geared for that. 2 Shreks on that squad unloads a little bit more damage in one volley than you're expecting sometimes. Panther's the one getting aggressive now. 2 victory points are currently held by the Soviet, and the 3rd one getting captured. I don't know why that Panther would do this. T-34s may have an opportunity to try and take it out right here if they can get behind it or get it stuck or something. No, it's not really working. And now that it's Vet 2, their shots on the frontal armor aren't penetrating very well either. When it was Vet 1, they got a couple lucky shots on the frontal armor. Now it's going to be a little bit less likely, make it even harder to take that thing down. Vet 2 Panthers can take on quite a large quantity of T-34s. It might even take 4 to reliably kill it, especially supported by Kenworfer and Shreks and so on. It is at 3/4 though. And a triple cap is going against the Oberkommando West right now. Shock troops with half health, 4 models defending left, everything else retreating completely off the battlefield. I think there might have been another booby trap over here, which is why this squad is got only 1 man.
Squad numbers back at full. Standing by. Send orders. Grenadiers operational. Under attack! Standing by for orders. Stand at 300 points. Fire on that infantry!
That was weird. So much for that Vet 5 double Panzer Shrek squad. I guess he didn't want it that badly. Oh, he's dropping artillery in the base. Okay. Which didn't really hit anything at all. Half damage to the ML-20, but whatever. Victory points getting taken by Arzuna at all 3 locations. Jaeger's forced to retreat left. T-34s are going to take this opportunity to go in hard against the Panther again. It does have to make a bit of a rotational maneuver here. If that T-34 blocks, almost forcing that Panther to take a slightly roundabout route here around the house. It still has a little bit of health remaining. T-34s will continue the chase. A lot of shots bouncing off of its frontal armor. Smoke grenade from those overs. I don't know what that was going to do though. It keeps backpedaling, and the T-34s will pull back out of that engagement as well. Because the flanks have both been taken and the center has failed to be taken, shock troops had to retreat again. It looks like that's the game. There's nothing heading for either of the flanks. The clock is ticking too quickly, and there's no way for MoaningMinnie to turn it around. I'm pretty sure it's now impossible for Minnie to win this game. Panther proved too much, and I almost feel like MoaningMinnie maybe got tunnel vision on it a little bit. There was, during this game, at any point, only 1 Panther on the field and 3 tanks. If those tanks had split up and worked the flanks simultaneously. By the way, somebody might be able to answer this. Is it possible for a grenade or tank or something to shoot a demo charge and blow that up? Maybe? I don't know. Anyway, the point is, if T-34s had split up and worked the flanks simultaneously, maybe,
We've lost a squad of infantry. Send orders!
maybe would have had better handle on the VPs.
Combat promotion!
But unfortunately, I just couldn't find a way to stay in this game, and I don't know if it was overinvestment in shock troops on a long-range map. I don't know if it was maybe the loss of some of his conscripts early on. He had an excellent early advantage with his Tier 1 opening, wiping 2 Volksgrenadier squads, but then he struggled later to keep up with with Jaeger light infantry. The Jaeger light infantry infiltration grenades overs performed quite well. A lot of hard anti-infantry counters, and especially the Panzer II. Panzer II had a very dramatic impact that helped turn things around for Arzuna 86. So well played by Arzuna. And I especially liked the usage of booby traps this game. I think that those did a lot of work. A lot of good work. So GG, Axis wins.